The following content may be unsuitable for certain viewers, specifically anyone with a brain.
All right.
Yo.
Coming to you live from Philly. It's the #1 rated Paulie Tony Fusco Show.
Yo.
As always, Paulie Fusco here with Tony Fusco and Tony.
Yo.
Huge show today. We're going to
can't
react
wait.
to the very emotional words from Eagles legend Jason Kelce that we heard at his retirement.
It's going to be a tough one today.
And Tony, frankly, it may be very hard for us to hold it together.
Yup, we're not going to cry because, crying is for losers, but we may come close.
Yeah, well, also, we're going to call out Caleb Williams.
Oh,
disgusting
we are.
behavior by him.
Horrible.
Skipping the drills at the combine, and we're going to tell you why that's going to have him tumbling down the draft board.
Just pathetic. Yeah.
Anyway, on the subject of pathetic, Tony, we all know that big tech is trying to silence this show.
It's unbelievable.
We told everyone, rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. Well, only like 20 reviews came through out of the thousands that people submitted.
Yeah.
So, they're clearly being blocked.
Yeah, they're clearly trying to block our reviews.
Yeah, well, don't let them do that.
No,
So
people.
keep reviewing the show. Stand up to the censorship.
Stand up.
And also, on a better note, we're offering a special discount at the Fusco Show merch store this week. Get 20% off everything.
What a deal.
March 7th to the 12th, including our newest design that our lawyers agreed did not infringe at all on any classic video game.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I barely see any resemblance to anything. Is that from Donkey Kong or something?
I don't even know myself.
Yeah,
Tony,
me neither.
Anyway, let's just get to our guest today. Joining us to recap the emotional press conference from Jason Kelce. A longtime NFL reporter, grew up right here in Philly.
Yeah.
Big Eagles fan.
Yup.
We're going to bring him on to get his thoughts and feelings. Manish Mehta will be joining us.
I can feel it already. This is going to be such a heartfelt conversation today.
Absolutely, Tony. But before we get to that, it's time for a word from our good friends, our newest sponsor, Safe Flight Auto Repair.
Yeah.
Did you know there's an entire business devoted just to replacing car windshields? Yeah, we don't know how the they make money either. But Tony, you know a satisfied customer.
Yeah. A couple of weeks back, my Aunt Marie and her boyfriend Nunzio got their windshield smashed in an auto accident. Luckily, they were both okay. But I asked Nunzio what caused the accident, and then he said, your aunt's teeth. And then actually, you know what?
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Anyway, just go to
good call.
safelight.com, enter the promo code Fusco to get 10% off your next windshield fixing. If that's something you ever actually need, because we never have.
Yeah, me neither. So there you go, another check in the mail.
All right, Tony, with that, let's get right into it. Our very emotional top story.
Top story.
Just an emotional week here in Philly as our favorite son, Super Bowl hero, Eagles legend Jason Kelce announced his retirement after 13 seasons with the team. And, the press conference was just full of lots of emotional moments, so many great things he said, memories. And, there was one quote, Tony, that just really stood out to us.
Absolutely.
I'm going to read it now, and, I'm just going to try not to get emotional as I read it. Kelce was looking back on the 2017 Super Bowl win over the Patriots, and he said, quote, I won't forget Nick Foles having the game of his life on the biggest stage possible and the biggest on the team, going up to Doug Peterson and asking for the Philly special, and Doug Peterson having the biggest balls in the stadium. Wow, Tony.
Wow.
Just such beautiful words.
Unbelievable.
And an even more beautiful memory. Isn't that right?
It's hard not to get emotional hearing those poetic words. Just thinking about what he said about Nick Foles and his absolutely gargantuan cock. I mean, I'm starting to get choked up just thinking about it.
As would anyone, Tony. I mean, it was just such a display of just a massive gargantuan cock,
And also what he said about Dougie P. He had just such enormously massive grapefruit-sized balls that Super Bowl. It was just the biggest moment with the biggest stage and the biggest cocks and balls. It was just all so perfect and beautiful.
Just so beautifully said that, Tony. And, it's just
Thank
clear,
you.
Jason Kelce, he will miss the game of football, but what he'll clearly miss most is the specifically the big ones, as will we.
Absolutely, as will we.
Well, Tony, there's other stories we have to get to here.
Yeah.
And, this one, another emotional story. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott and his girlfriend, Sarah Jane Ramos, welcomed a baby girl. And, even though the Cowboys are our rivals and we hate them with every bone in our body, we do want to send our congratulations for a smooth delivery. Because, Tony, there were some serious concerns heading into this, weren't there?
Absolutely. Many OBGYNs and NFL analysts were concerned that something might go wrong during the delivery. Like Dak might fumble the snap out of the womb and drop the baby, or pass the baby to the wrong mother, or show up after the baby was born due to his poor clock management. But from all we've seen and heard, everything went smoothly.
Just so great to hear. And from all reports, the baby is clearly a Cowboys fan already because it's crying and whining all the time.
Aww.
Anyway, all right, next story. Troubling news out of the NFL Combine. Former USC quarterback Caleb Williams, diva, declined to go through drills or throwing, sending a shockwave through the entire NFL. And Tony, this will definitely be sending him tumbling down the draft boards, won't it?
Absolutely. This is the one chance for NFL coaches to evaluate your talent. They can't do that watching game film of you playing Washington from who knows how many months ago. No, they need to be able to have a doctor measure your body fat index.
Exactly. NFL scouts, they don't need to see film of you starting 30 games as a college quarterback or winning a Heisman Trophy. No, what they need to see is how fast you can run between 6 strategically placed orange cones.
Exactly. They don't learn anything about you by looking at old stats and your completion percentage. They need to see your chin-up percentage.
Exactly. They don't care if you can read blitzes. What they need to see is if you can read a series of logic puzzles and solve them in a given amount of time.
Exactly. They don't need to see how you perform in December with your team's entire season on the line in front of 50,000 screaming fans. No. They need to see how you perform in an empty stadium in February, or when you're having dinner with 2 defensive line coaches at a Ruth Chris in Indianapolis on a Tuesday. That's real pressure.
Just such great points and examples all around there, Tony. And, moving on. At this time of year, because there's less sports going on, ESPN, pathetic, just becomes so desperate for clicks. What they do is they keep trying to shove news down our throats and make it sound like it's important just to save their dying business.
Exactly.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take actual headlines from ESPN.com, the homepage there, and I'm going to read them to Tony. It's a segment we call Do You Give a F***?
Do you give a f***?
Okay, Tony, first one up. Starting LB Baker, latest Dolphins cap casualty. Do you give a f***?
The real casualty is anyone who bothers reading this article. No.
Okay. Panthers land Tarasenko from Sens for 2 picks. Do you give a f***?
I sense that I won't be reading this article. No.
Okay. Garvey moves on to November election for Senate seat.
I am moving on to something far more interesting than this article. No.
Okay. Wake up call. Mbappe, PSG storm ahead in UCL. Do you give a f***?
I will need a wake-up call after I fall asleep reading that article. No.
Okay. Source. Horns QB Manning opts out of EA game. Do you give a f***?
This article makes me want to opt out of consciousness. No.
Okay. Rom joins Live Chorus. Ranking system outdated. Do you give a f***?
When you look at the official World Golf Ranking System, or OWGR for short, you can easily see that the ranking system allows players to gain more points simply by playing in more tournaments and penalizes players for not playing those tournaments. Finishes in majors is such a better reflection of a golfer's overall performance and thus should become the default measurement. So, yes, I do give a
Okay, well, all right, that's our segment. Do you give a fuck?
Yeah.
And well, all right, I see our guest coming on the line, so let's go ahead and bring him on the Fusco Satellite Network.
Fusco Satellite Network.
Longtime NFL reporter, did a lot of work on ESPN's The Sports Reporters, was at SNY, the New Jersey Star Ledger, all around the tri-state area here. But of course, he grew up right here in the heart of Philly and grew up an Eagles fan, and that's why
there you go.
We want to bring him on now to, recap what has been an emotional week here in our proud city. Manish Mehta, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, obviously, let's begin with the big story. Jason Kelce at his press conference announcing his retirement. Very emotional. He got emotional talking about the 2017 Super Bowl when the Eagles beat the Patriots. I'm going to read one quote to you, Manish, and I'm going to try not to get emotional myself, but this is what Kelce said at the presser. He said, quote, "I won't forget Nick Foles having the game of his life on the biggest stage possible and the biggest on the team, going up to Doug Peterson and asking for the Philly special, and Doug Peterson having the biggest balls in the stadium." So, Manish, how emotional do you get when you hear those words and think about Nick Foles and his massive
Well, I don't want to comment specifically on whether that's true, although I've heard reports that it is actually true. So,
great journalism.
Great journalism there, Manish.
Yeah, that is, yeah. But when you're a reporter and you're in the locker room, you kind of keep your vision like from the shoulder up. So, I don't personally have knowledge of that, but there are enough rumblings around town to make me believe that it's actually true. But look, I think that Kelce's speech was, as you said, it was emotional. It was funny, entertaining, and even though the Super Bowl speech with him dressed as a mummer, got so much attention, and rightfully so because it was a great moment. I really thought that this speech, it wasn't perfect because nothing's perfect, but it was pretty damn close because I thought you saw all the different traits that he embodies as a person. Kindness, empathy, compassion. Gratitude. I mean, this
ability
is a guy
to size up genitalia. Don't leave that out.
Underrated.
Very important.
Right. He threw that in there too. I mean, there's just so many components of who he is as a person, that really captured Philly fans throughout the last, specifically, 5 to 7 years. I mean, he's beloved not only because of the fact that he was a great football player, but he has this unique ability to connect with people, whether it's
absolutely. People say that about us too.
Exactly. We heard that a lot.
So we understand where you're coming from. You did mention you were in the locker room there. You were the guy who called out the Jets in 2020 for reportedly putting hidden cameras in their locker room. Don't you think it would have been helpful, from a journalistic perspective? Maybe they should have had cameras in the Eagles locker room, specifically around Nick Foles' locker, just from a journalistic perspective.
Right. From a strictly journalistic standpoint, maybe even have like a locker cam type of situation.
Yeah,
zoom in
this
situation.
Is all journalism.
Right, yeah. From what I understand, you don't really need to zoom in, when it comes to that.
Exactly.
And who is your source here? Who is giving you this information?
Look, I've got multiple sources. And again, look, I've never seen it firsthand because, like I said, I keep it shoulders up when I'm in the locker room. But,
I wouldn't want you to use your hand, just your eyes, for the record, But if you wanted to use your hand, I would understand.
It's part of our journalistic duty, so we would understand.
Yeah, I'm sure you would, but I try to steer clear of all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I understand that, but I just have to ask you a question. Did you see the Jets' hidden camera footage? Because based on their performance on the field, it sounds like they would all have very tiny dicks and balls.
That's what I would think.
Well, look, I mean, they've got a 13-year playoff drought, which is the longest among any North American
It's the only thing they have that's long.
So, yeah, they haven't had that much success. Whether that's because of the anatomical issues or otherwise, I probably not. To me. I think it's more about the internal structure in the organization and the coaching and the players and the front office more so than. Yeah, more so than body
microscopic. It's a whole thing when you look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Bone structure. Yeah. All right. I think we've covered that. Let's get into you. Yeah, Manish, we noticed something kind of odd on your Twitter account. Yeah. You do a lot of retweeting.
Yeah.
But you don't actually tweet. So, do you have thoughts of your own? What is going on?
I do have thoughts of my own. However, I have learned through the years that no matter what you say, when you say it, or who you say it about, you're going to get some kind of backlash from people on Twitter. Because what I will say about Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of passionate people and they are relentless. So unless you're ready to take all the heat, I mean, I could say happy birthday, Peter King, or congratulations on your retirement, Peter King, and get like a dozen critical comments about wishing the guy a happy retirement. So,
well, you got to learn, Manish, you got to learn to take criticism.
Yeah. God, that's what we do. We take on everybody on Twitter.
I have taken my fair share of criticism for, a decade and a half on social media.
We've taken it for 24 years, and we always fire back.
Manish, I don't want to ask about what's going on beneath the pants, but it doesn't sound like it's Foles size down there because, you got to learn to take criticism in this business.
Yeah, Manish.
Yeah, I would say Nick
show
Foles
it off.
Look, what I'll say is that Nick Foles is a Hall of Famer in that area.
There you go.
Right. By the way, you do have a relationship with Peter King, it seems like.
Yeah. I do. Peter King is a tremendous person. He's been an advocate and a mentor, a friend to me for basically my entire career.
Well, weren't you a little stunned by his sudden retirement the other week? I mean, we clearly saw what led to it. In fact, Tony, tell him what we saw.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. We know why he retired. In his last article, Peter King wrote that he didn't have a good feeling about the Eagles in 2024. And then in the very same article, he announced he's retiring. So don't you think it's clear that he reread what he wrote about the Eagles? And then he thought to himself, oh my God, that was such a horrible take. I have to retire immediately.
Called it quits right
there.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he looked at the fact that the Eagles have to really overhaul their entire defense, have 2 new coordinators, now have question marks on the offensive line. Nobody really knows what Jalen Hurts is going to be this year.
You're sounding very negative.
Yeah.
I mean, you sound like a Jets fan. This is why you're getting so much backlash on Twitter, Manish.
Hold on.
Manish,
so
you're a negative person.
I'm born and raised in Philadelphia. I grew up in the Northeast.
Hold on a second. Where do you live right now, Manish? You still living in Philly?
I'm in the Philadelphia area, yes.
All right. Can you give us your home address? We might need to stop.
Yeah, let me tweet that out. How about that? Is that all right?
Are you living in Jersey, Manish?
No. I lived in Jersey about 15 years ago, and then I moved over to the Philadelphia area, and I've been...
Well, you're wised up, and now to someone who needs to wise up. Segue. Right. Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
You see, you've made a terrible move.
Horrible.
Terrible movement.
Pathetic.
He skipped throwing and drills at the NFL Combine. And, this is just such a mistake by him. Definitely will hurt his draft stock. Where do you see him getting drafted now? The 6th, the 7th round?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. He's in a rare position where he knows he's going to be the number 1 pick. So not throwing at the Combine is nothing new. Even quarterbacks don't like doing that because they're not throwing to familiar wide receivers. And, Caleb Williams stopped. Probably would not have even gone down from the number 1 pick.
No. There's no upside. You're talking like NFL media.
Yeah, there's no upside.
Coaches need to see him in action.
Exactly.
Right? You can't evaluate a QB by looking at game film. You got to see how long it takes him to run between 6 cones on a practice field.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, I would say there's a 99.9% chance that Caleb Williams will be the number 1 pick in the NFL.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Speaking of 99.9%.
So you're saying that we don't know how to analyze NFL?
Yeah, is that what you're saying
to us? Because I'll tell you something.
That's what it sounds like.
There's a 99.9%
The interview stops
that
right
you're
here.
going to be thrown off the show. In fact,
exactly.
Let's make it 100.
It's actually 100%, Manish. Because you're done. You're off the show.
Wait, hang on. I have more to say.
You're off the show.
I got more to say. Hang on, guys.
I'm going to combine my fist in your face.
Fusco Satellite Network.
Is he off the line?
Jay, hang up the phone.
How dare he comes on the show and questions us like that? Totally rude.
Yeah, Manish Mehta. I wish we never met him.
Great one, Tony. Anyway,
Thank
let's
you.
not let him ruin, which was otherwise just a terrific show.
Exactly.
Of course, we want to thank our good friends, our sponsors, Safe Light.
Yeah,
and,
thank you. Oh, you kidding
someone
me?
we are not safe from.
Yeah, I wish somebody we could Safe Light replace. Producer Jay. What do you want?
Corrections.
What? Go.
What?
You said Caleb Williams' draft stock is falling because he didn't do drills at the combine?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, shame for him.
I just checked around. Pretty much every mock draft still has him going number 1. So you're wrong.
Oh, yeah, well, I have you going to the emergency room.
Yeah. You know who was doing drills? Everyone on your mom. Oh, you're
good
done.
one, Tony.
Got him. Let's get out of here.
No.
What? Hurry up.
You said the doctors are called OBGYMs?
Yeah, bro.
Medicine, bro. Know it.
No, it's OBGYN, not OBGYM. It ends in an N, not an M.
Oh, yeah, well, you're going to end with my gun.
Yeah. And you're going to OBG wind up dead. Oh, you're finished.
Great one, Tony.
Let's get out of here. That's the end of the show.
Wait.
What? Hurry up.
You called the restaurant Ruth Chris Steakhouse.
Yeah, that's what it's called, bro.
That's the name, bro.
Yeah, look it up.
No. Well, if you want to bother getting it right, it's not Ruth Chris Steakhouse. It's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm going to shoot you with Tony's Paulie gun.
Yeah, I'm going to Ruth's shits on your face. Oh, he's shit. He's
Great
done.
one, Tony.
He's shooking.
Well, this will
Let's
cheer
get out of
everybody
here
up,
with-
Tony. He was
What?
probably listening to the interview. Just booked for
Who?
next week. Super Bowl hero, Eagles legend Nick Foles will be
Wow,
here.
great
we know what we'll be
news.
asking him. Anyway, don't forget, rate and review on
Yup.
Apple Podcasts.
Yup,
Go
do
to
it
the merch
now.
store, 20% off until
Buy
the 12th.
all the merch.
And Tony, great job as always.
Same to you, Paulie. Another flawless show.
There you go. We'll see you people next week.
See ya.